Welcome back to another Call of Duty video, guys. So I thought I would go in and discuss as to why Call of Duty will never be as good as it was before. You know, to a lot of us older Call of Duty players, there's, COD that comes out and they bitch complain constantly about Call of Duty is not how it used to be, etc., etc. Well, it's not going to be how it used to be for one specific reason: nostalgia. Nostalgia is very important and plays a very important role in your life. However, nostalgia also sets rules and kind of like sets expectations for things that are similar to those things that are nostalgic to us. And unfortunately, people's nostalgia builds so high that there is absolutely no way you could ever surpass that nostalgia feeling. Period. And this is why newer Call of Duties will never be as good as the older CODs. The other thing is, yes, of course, they do have worse development cycle in a sense because they're not as well put together, but the biggest thing is nostalgia. There's so many old maps that come out in the newer Call of Duties that are exactly from the original, games, and people say they're not as good as the originals. Well, they're not as good as the original because nostalgia plays a part in knowing the original map is better. The same thing with the games. When you actually think about it, the original games are better because nostalgia. You grew up playing those games, and no matter how hard you try to like the brand new Call of Duties, they'll never be as good as those Call of Duties that you grew up playing. And it's very weird because it depends on who you ask. And what I mean by that is, like, for instance, if you ask people who used to be teenagers during the Modern Warfare 2, during the Black Ops 1 and stuff like that, and Call of Duty 4 and World at War and everything, they will say the best games are those hands down all the way up until probably Black Ops 2. But if you ask the newer generation now, they will sit here and tell you, well, the best Call of Duty is actually the newer Call of Duties. And I've actually heard that argument a couple of times. And what it actually plays as is nostalgia. For a lot of people when they were younger, the number one biggest FPS or the first FPS game they tried is actually Call of Duty. And the same thing can be said for Halo. Halo is a big one for this. Everybody will admit that the better Halos are better from back in the day because of nostalgic reasons. They just don't really understand that it's nostalgic reasons. So no matter how hard they try to make a brand new Call of Duty that tries to appease the people, it will never happen because nostalgia will never lose versus the new games.